All right, Albert, we're back. Thanks for the bathroom break. The story so far has been crazy.
The Ferrari story, the reason why I got the Ferrari
Yeah.
was because when I started the mortgage company, the mortgage guy, which Patrick but David, we had a mentorship session. And after that mentorship session, we decided to change the name from the mortgage guy to the mortgage guys. Because the mortgage guys is more plural and it opens up for people with big egos to want to be part of it.
Right.
Mortgage guy is more singular. It's more attached to me and the Ferrari.
Right.
So when I started the company, I grew it, but then I was capped. I couldn't reach more people. I saw Grant Cardone. I started Driven, and I needed to grow my audience because Grant said, even though I make millions,
Yeah.
I don't have an audience, so I'm not useful.
And what type of audience did he mean?
Having a big following.
But is that like on social media?
On social media, yeah. Because you'll sell tickets for an event.
So he wants to leverage you.
He wants to leverage people with audiences, with big followings. I didn't have a following.
Because you'll sell tickets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the name of the game, to sell seats.
Yeah. To be known. It's not the best product or the best, the most experience. It's who knows you. So then that's when I said, you know what? Driven, okay. I need a car though. How am I going to get attention? So I went out there and I had like 40 grand in my bank account. I went to Ferrari and I don't know what it is with champagne, but every time I have some champagne, I get some brilliant ideas. So I had a buddy.
I was going to say you make... Never mind.
I saw you having some champagne a few days ago. So maybe that's
it was
trend.
On the table.
There it is.
So
what a great photo.
I had this buddy, and I tell this buddy, hey, come down. You know, we're doing good this week. Let's celebrate. And my celebration started with, let's get a bottle of champagne. Here's your glass. Here's my glass. He came down, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's go check out cars for motivation.
Yeah.
And so we go check out cars. I'm driving the Maserati back then, and it's still a pretty damn good car because not a lot of people had Maserati Quattroporte, which was big 11 years ago.
This is the convertible?
No, it's the sedan.
Okay.
So me and my buddy go, and we stop by. The first stop was Bentley. So we stop at Bentley, check them out, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we go to Aston Martin. Check them out. Test drove, I think it was a DB8 or DB11, something like that. And then
it's on Wilshire?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we go and we're like, you know what? We got to think bigger. Let's go look at the Lambos. We go look at the Lambos. I'm not a Lambo guy. I'm like, nah. You know what? I've always had a dream to have a red Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, 6 years old, I used to be a painter with my dad. So we used to go paint homes here in Beverly Hills and Bel Air. And I used to see mansions and Ferraris. I don't know what a Ferrari was, but it stuck with me one day, a big mansion with a red Ferrari. It was a red exotic car. As a kid, I don't know what it is about kids, but kids know what exotic cars are.
Yeah.
So I said, I've always wanted a red Ferrari. Let's go look at the Ferrari. So we will go look at the Ferraris. I text Sil and I tell her, hey, you know what? At this point, we're already like 4 champagnes in. Because when you go to these places, these dealerships, they serve you champagne.
Yeah. They
want you to drink and they want you to buy.
Yeah.
So we go in there and we go to Ferrari and I text my wife, Sil, hey, you know what? I'm going to get and I'm going to apply for Ferrari. I'm not going to qualify. I mean, come on. I'm not going to qualify for a Ferrari. It was like a dream there. Like there's no way. So
at that time, was your credit back to normal?
Yeah, it was good. 700 FICO score. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I told my wife, but I don't have the income for a Ferrari. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So I tell her they're only going to charge $5,000 and they're going to run my application. If I don't qualify, they'll use that as credit for when I qualify. So I closed her like I do, like I'm a closer. So I said, okay, cool.
What was the urgency though?
Because I needed to stand out.
Okay.
I needed to get attention.
Yeah.
And I already had an idea of what I was going to do with that Ferrari.
You knew how to leverage it.
I knew what I was going to do. Yeah. I looked at that Patrick Bet-David video, the 90 seconds. And that was, I knew I was going to hit up Patrick Bet-David. This before Patrick Bet-David meeting. I'm going to hit him up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So I don't qualify. I pay $5,000. And then they call me back in 3 days and they tell me, hey, we qualified you. It's $39,000 down.
Okay.
It's an open-end lease, and your payment's $2,100 a month.
Done.
It's a 2011 pre-owned 458 Italia. And I said, done. I called my other friend and I'm like, hey, Johnny, let's go to Bank of America. I got to get a cashier's check for 39 grand. I'm going to pick up a Ferrari. Yeah. And he's like, whoa, he grew up with me. We met in college. So he's like, damn, bro, I can't. He's the guy that I used to go and have Absolute vodka and pick up on chicks at Corona del Mar.
Right, in Corona del Mar.
So he's like, dude, I used to get $20. I used to get $20 from my dad to buy $26 Absolute vodka from Costco. Now you're gonna go pick up your dream car, a Ferrari. That's not a Mercedes. It's not a Maserati. Yeah. It's a fucking Ferrari.
Yeah.
So I'm going there. I get the cashier's check. I see my bank balance like at $1,000.
That's what you left it with?
Yeah, my mortgage guy's balance.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. This is a business expense.
Well, I don't have any money. I have $1,000. That's all my money I have. So I go get the Ferrari. I use up all the reserves, and I'm so confident. I'm like, yeah, 100%.
Wife's on board. Still's good.
She was pregnant.
Perfect.
To my first daughter, Italia. I knew if I waited till our baby was born, it wasn't gonna happen. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get it right now.
Right.
So I told Sil, I closed her. I'm gonna get the car. It's gonna make us so much money. I go get the car. I picked it up. I still have videos. I have a bunch of videos and pictures. It was the happiest moment of my life. I drove that car and I was like revving it, and it was like
it was the happiest point of your life thus far.
Thus far, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just one. Like, 'cause I have three little girls.
Yeah.
So,
and you had another Italia right after.
Yeah. So I get this car.
Yeah.
And I name my daughter Italia.
Yeah.
That's my she's gonna be 7 years old next Saturday.
Right on.
So I get the car, and then this was before she was born. And then what I start doing is I say, well, I'm gonna start doing videos like Grant Cardone, and Smart. He had a Rolls Royce, and I said I'm gonna be like the Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone of mortgages. I do that, and the rest was history. That same month, I made 45 grand extra because a realtor that didn't want to work with me and give me mortgage business, gave me 3 loans. Each commission was 15 grand. So I made 45 grand extra from this realtor that wouldn't pay attention to me because I had a Ferrari. He wanted to have lunch all of a sudden. He wanted to meet up with me.
Oh, he wouldn't give you the loans and then you got a Ferrari.
So
because you got noticed.
He was a realtor. I would always hit him up for business. Because realtors, you get business as a mortgage guy.
Got it.
Because you get their loans, their mortgages when they sell a house.
Got it.
So once I got the Ferrari, all of a sudden now he wants to work with me. He wants to give me business.
How did he find out that you had a Ferrari?
Social media. I put it on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And he reached out to me.
Got it. Okay.
He sends me a message on Facebook. Hey, he took a picture of my car. Because I already had strategies in place.
Yeah.
So I knew when I get this Ferrari, I'm gonna park it in the yellow across the street like I have right now.
Yeah.
But I used to be on the other side in a smaller space.
Okay.
And it was red. Now it's yellow. So I would park it in the yellow loading zone. I would get a ticket every day.
So awesome.
$55 a day.
This is like Bijan on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing.
So the way I saw it is, you know what? That's the best. That's a standing billboard, a park billboard right there.
Yeah.
I put my Instagram on the car. So everybody was taking pictures, started following me, and I started getting people, paparazzis, everything. So that built my brand. It opened up the relationship with Patrick Bet-David and many more.
Yeah.
And then when I used to go out to networking events, show up in the Ferrari, I pull all the people, and the mortgage company grew. I opened Ambiance Realty, it grew. I did Driven, put it on stage, it grew. And then I was the only mortgage guy. I was the original mortgage real estate broker that drove a Ferrari. Yeah. And then everybody started copying me after that. And that's why I get a lot of hate from people, smaller competitors, because they're like, I don't think they hate me. They hate my courage. They hate my discipline. They hate my work ethic. And they hate my just denial to give up.
Lev, can you order me a Ferrari? Park it outside.
Listen, challenge me on this point, but do they hate you?
They're real fanatics.
Or are you living rent-free in their head all day long?
Yeah.
Right? There you are. Just in their head. One of those like signposts you put when you're selling a house right in front of somebody's in somebody's yard.
Yeah, because people that love you,
yeah,
they only watch you like 2 hours a day or an hour a day. they love you, right?
Yeah.
But people that hate you,
They're obsessed.
they watch you all day long.
yeah.
They're obsessed with you.
They don't hate you. They hate themselves for not having the courage and the discipline to do what you do. Yeah, we talk about this all the time, and I think it's important to bring up, which is, and I didn't create this, I stole this from David Goggins, but
He's been at Driven.
he's been a Driven.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I went to his house.
Really?
I got a mentorship from him too.
Interesting. That is one guy I do not want a mentorship from. I am so freaked out. Who's going to help me carry the boats?
There we go.
This is something interesting that he said. He said, motivation is putting on your running shoes and going to run outside. And then when it's raining outside, right? That's when the motivation ends, right? When the elements aren't in agreement with what your plan is, motivation runs out. But that's when discipline kicks in.
Right.
And I think so many business owners out there, and you're talking about them like hating you, I would argue that they have an unhealthy relationship with themselves, where you are the center of their universe, or the mortgage guy is the center of their universe.
Yeah.
And they're so focused on you that they can't seem to get into focus their own lives.
Yeah.
Because people only have so much that they can focus on at one point. Eventually, you're running around with 3 girls, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And you're like getting dressed and you got to go outside, and then you run around the back and you're like, eventually you get tired.
Yeah.
You can't do it forever. And I think for so many people out there, especially with the advent of social media, how much time are they wasting at night? Because, Preciado's pushing out 20, 30 posts a day. How do they compete with that? How do they compete with a Driven event? How do they compete with a vertical organization that has, realty, mortgages,
Escrow?
Like, how do you even begin to do that? Well, I don't know. So it's just easier to hate that person.
Yeah.
And trust me, they're scrolling through. The algorithm knows it, because when they get to Albert's posts, they slow down, they watch the reel, they read the comments, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they don't hit the heart button to like it, but the algorithm knows.
They like it more than the heart.
Oh, yeah. And it does more in the algorithm.
And you know what? You can't create and hate at the same time.
No.
So I focus on creating.
Such a great quote. Such a great quote. You can't hate and create at the same time. It's brilliant.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
So all those people, I wish him the best. I wish him the best. There's people that have left my life, and the funny thing is that a lot of those people, they developed this envy towards me and Sil, and they used to hate each other, but now they're best friends because they have one alikeness, which is that they envy the same person. It's weird,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'll get people and they'll send me a screenshot. Hey, look at what this person is saying about you. They used to work for you,
Yeah.
or this person,
Yeah.
and you know what I do? I'm like, yes, thank you. I'm like, thank you. Like another fanatic. They're free motivators.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they're talking about me, I'm doing something right. I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? You have the same type of unhealthy relationship in the political world, right? The political world is so divisive. You have Trump and you have Biden, and you have certain people who are just devoted, card-carrying members, anti-Trumpers, pro-Trumpers, pro-Biden, anti-Biden, and they focus all their time, love, and attention on something that's not real.
Yeah.
Something that they have no control of. And I think this is the genius of social media, which is it's smoke and mirrors, right? Post enough, you'll eventually get engagement. You'll win the battle of who's famous.
Yeah.
In life, it's about self-promotion. So like Albert said, you can either hate or you can create. But you can't do both, or at least you can't do both well.
Right.
And I think Albert's one of those people where maybe they've understood that lesson from a very early age, that you have to promote yourself. You have to put your brand first. My father, who was an immigrant to America, would always say, you have to fake it to make it. That was like his favorite phrase in English. You have to fake it to make it. I think the immigrant story is so interesting because you come here with nothing.
Where's he from?
Israel. Yeah. You come here with nothing. You've escaped something, right, that you see as traumatic. And you come to this land of opportunity with 350 million people. There's so much to be sold. There's so many people. And if you understand that, you can build an empire.
Yeah.
You can build an empire, because if you don't, trust me, somebody else will.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody else will. Somebody else is going to create the realty company. Somebody else is going to create a mortgage company. Somebody else is going to create all the other accoutrements that go with this financial vertical.
Right.
Yeah, playing devil's advocate though, not everyone can go out and get a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. What tips do you have? I saw you had the training out here for real estate agents. Like, what tips do you have for someone who can't go buy that car, or who can't go on social media and be flashy, who has 3 kids and some bills?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question, and you need more people to grow. So, like you said it, like, how do I post 20 times a day?
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm posting 5 times on one platform. I probably post like 40 times a day because I'm posting on 7, 8 different platforms. I'm not. My team is.
Yeah.
So that's called delegation. So like I'm not doing the training. Somebody there was doing the training. You know, Jared was doing the training. Sale was doing the training. Like the post, the content. You need to hire people so that they can help you push more out.
Yeah.
So like that's I have security now, you know, with guns, watching my house, watching my office, you know, because I've been robbed. But I know it's something that I have to delegate. I have to hire more help. I have housekeepers. I have full-time housekeepers, full-time nannies, because they allow me to do more. Rich people buy time, poor people waste time. So they'll bring our kids here to the office. We have a kids room. You saw it.
Yeah.
So like we created, we don't balance our life. We move people around our life, and we force our kids to go roll with us. We're like, hey, we're leaving, we're doing this. And they understand that, hey, you know what? Mom and dad are working hard. Yeah. But I also have that time frame that I told you, like, hey, in 3 years from now, I'm committed to this for my family. But the next 3 years, you're not going to see me a lot. I'm going to be in and out, but I just want to do this for all of your futures, because one of my things that the thing that I'm the most proud of is being a family man.
Yeah. You had trauma. Your parents were protective, maybe even overprotective. Now you're a father of 3 beautiful girls.
Yeah.
How do you balance, because you're talking about, well, my life's like a chessboard and I just move the pieces around, right? Mm-hmm. It's not checkers, it's chess. Everything's very calculated. There's a room for the kids to do school here. Yeah. Right? The kids are homeschooled. Yeah. That's not checkers, right? That's chess. Everything's very calculated. You're 40?
Yeah.
You look back on the last 20 years of your life. Would you change one thing or all the mistakes that you made necessary steps for you to learn these like vital lessons?
Yes, but the only thing that I regret is not thinking bigger.
How?
I should have taken more risks earlier.
How?
I should have started my company sooner. I should have put all my money on the line sooner. I should have gotten the Ferrari sooner. I should have raised capital sooner. Yeah. I should have done everything sooner, and it took me a little longer. You know, like I got mentorships, and they told me do X, Y, and Z. It always took me 2 years later to do it. Yeah. So like I should have taken action sooner. I should have failed sooner. I should have made all the mistakes sooner, and I would have been a billionaire right now for sure.
Yeah.
Those are the only regrets that I have. I should have thought bigger, because now I think bigger, but it's because I feel like I'm running out of time. I'm 40.
You are
and,
running.
and
You are
and-
running out of time.
and I need to push harder.
Yeah. I think that's the message to so many people who are young entrepreneurs that are going to watch these clips or that are going to attend Driven. You are running out of time. Albert's already talked about, I'll be in Dallas, but I'm only going to be there for a day, right?
Mhm.
You set these timelines, but so many people in life don't realize that linear timeline. You do run out of time. And what usually happens is you run out of health.
Mhm.
And we got a tour
You
of your
slow
facility.
down.
You do. And we did get a tour of your facility and saw where you work out and how like it's a pillar,
Yeah.
right, of your everyday life.
Yeah.
But so many people don't put their health first, me included. Dang. I'm looking at the
Screen.
I'm looking at the screen. Somebody told me that, yeah, thank you for switching. Wow. Do you need Albert?
No, wait.
Oh, okay. We're good on time. Oh, you're a sweetheart. Get out of here.
Sorry.
No, you're amazing. Do you want to say hi? That was very thoughtful of you. Thank you very much.
You're not fat, by the way. You
I'm-
look good. You look good.
In black, set against.
A black
Let
drop.
me just put my leg like that.
Yeah.
It's okay. The long form content nobody cares about, right? It's the clips that people care about. And so let's get back to a clip that I think is so important to share. Albert's like, well, I've got this timeline by 43. You know, if I could rewind time, would I change anything? Yeah, I would have done it faster. I would have gone harder, right? I would have driven it harder in the paint, right? Would have got mentorship earlier. Would have invested my money earlier.
I would have cut people from my life sooner.
Mm.
I would have.
Ooh.
I wouldn't have had distractions.
Okay.
I would have partied a little less. I would have wasted less time. But most importantly, cut people from my life faster.
I like that. Is it the girls? Is it the friends?
It's people that used to work for my companies
Okay.
that I gave too many chances to.
Let's double down on that because that's something that people can relate to. Give us an example. You can use a fake name.
I dragged them to be successful. I was forcing them to be successful.
Dean, my business partner, Dean calls it projects.
Yeah.
You invest in something and you're not getting the rate of return that
Yeah.
you need back.
Yeah.
But it's philanthropic, right? You see them
Mm-hmm.
as somebody who has potential.
Yeah.
You want them to become like,
So bad. You want them to win so bad.
you want them to win more than they want to win.
And the moment you stop dragging them,
Right.
they just collapse and give up.
Yeah.
They don't, and it's because they feel so much pressure that not everybody can deal with that pressure. So you want them to win so bad,
Right.
more than them, and you're dragging them year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and finally, like, they just can't take it anymore, and you can't take it anymore, and you go separate ways,
Yeah.
and then you just see them like they just melt.
Yeah.
They just melt, and then what happens is that your business takes off without them even more, because now you don't have that dragging energy that you have to spend like every single week
Yeah.
re-enrolling them, dragging them along.
Yeah.
Like,
people, this is important. When you build a company, you have to be inclusive of people and what their contribution to the vision is. People tend to support that which they help to create. But if the people that you're referring to aren't willing to donate time, love, attention to the vision, right, which takes discipline, then they're an albatross on the organization.
Yeah.
They're extra weight on the rocket. And in order to get the rocket off the ground, that's the most difficult part.
Mhm.
That's what takes the bulk of the energy.
Yeah.
Because once you're off the ground, as we all know, right, wings on an airplane, you'll glide forever,
Yeah.
right?
so that's what you did. That's really important. Like that's what we did. Like, we are entrepreneurs, and once we get the rocket off the ground,
Right.
we open the doors for a lot of intrapreneurs. So entrepreneurs,
Right.
they didn't have to lift the rocket off the ground. They didn't put the money. They weren't the founders. But they think like entrepreneurs, so they could have worked with an entrepreneur and they're perfect entrepreneurs, but some of them are confused entrepreneurs, and they want to start it from zero. They want to lift the rocket, but it's not very few people can lift the rocket.
Or they think they want to.
Yeah.
So like in most organizations, you have founders which come up with the ideas. And then underneath the founders, you have early adopters. And then underneath that, you've got like your standing army. These are the guys that will do the grunt work.
Yeah.
And underneath that, you have the naysayers. But in any organization, you have this collection of individual minds. And some are willing to contribute to the vision, and some will detract from the vision. And I think going back to what you said earlier, which is like, you've wasted time with people that are detracting and distracting from you honing in on that vision. And it's a lot of wasted time. It's a lot of wasted effort.
Yeah.
Being able to understand, because you're a relationship guy.
Mhm.
And I remember we were just talking to Jeff Fenster, and he was saying the same thing. He's a relationship guy, and he's willing to give everything to you if you're willing to reciprocate back to him, right? To the organization, that is. But I think as entrepreneurs, right, once you get to a certain level of success, your heart grows too big. And you're willing to open up your heart and your house and your wallet, right? Your being, your time, your family to those people who may or may not want to help contribute to that vision. And I think for so many entrepreneurs out there, they have to learn this lesson the hard way, which is everyone's going to play a role inside the organization. And if you can build the organization, I think this is brilliant because it goes back to the difference between mortgage guy and mortgage guys. If you can build an organization and scale it appropriately and make it not about you, but make it about them, right? Departments, like you showed me in the tour when we got here. This is escrow. This is operations. This is, so on and so forth. If you can build departments with department heads, people who have exact roles and responsibilities, right? Then those people will help to contribute to the vision. And then you don't have to stall out, right?
Yeah.
The rocket doesn't have to stall
Yeah.
on its journey, right? To the, out of the Earth's atmosphere, because so many people are weighting it down.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the first lessons entrepreneurs are going to learn the hard way, which is like, I've opened up my heart and I've opened up my wallet to so many people. What have they given back?
Yeah.
Right. And it's a difficult lesson to learn.
You know what I think that gets in the way of a lot of people's success is ego. Like especially when people start putting their last name on their company, like where they start doing like
Mark one.
Like Mark Mortgage, like you want to do Preciado home loans or whatever. Like that's why all the companies are Ambiance Realty, the Mortgage Guys, Conquer Escrow, Driven, and like even my YouTube channels, it's not Albert Preciado show. It's not Albert Preciado YouTube. It's the Driven channel.
Shit.
What's yours?
Looks like it's Stern Talk.
But that's Patrick Bet-David. He told me, hey,
check please.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to do a YouTube channel with podcasts where I wanted to do valuetainment, so that it's value entertainment.
Right.
And I wanted to stay away from my name when I built it. After he built it, then that's when, and now he has his PVD podcast, where he has a Patrick Bet-David podcast. So in the future, like you built Cardiff from zero.
Yeah.
Like you built an empire already. So like for you, it works out. Like for you, like that, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but what I'm referring to more is like people leave you early on the early stages,
Yeah.
and they have an idea.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start a company, and they're like, it's gonna be Francisco's Mortgages,
Yeah.
and because of their ego.
Yeah.
But those people are broke as a joke. They don't have any money. They're starting a company. They have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like your company is not named Stern
Yeah.
Loans. It's named Cardiff.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm meaning to. But
Yeah.
like somebody like that at a certain level, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that just, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna leave the mortgage guys and I'm gonna start Francisco's home loans.
But it's so attractive. It's so. And are we okay on time? Because
I'm fine.
yeah, okay. good.
Like I said, I'm the boss, so I cleared everything out for
I
you.
appreciate it. I saw that text message. It was like, yeah. So many people, in the finance industry, I think once you get an understanding of what the house makes versus what you make, and again, you have to excuse me because I don't know anything about the mortgage industry. But let's say, for example, you are selling a home loan. Your cost of funds is 6, right? The rate to the consumer is 8.
Yeah.
Right. That's 200 basis points on a $2 million loan over 30 years.
Yeah.
Like you get the present value, right, of that. And I don't know what that is, but let's say it's 50,000. The mortgage rep working, or you would call it the loan officer, right? We're going to get Josh to talk eventually, everybody. The loan officer is going to make, let's say, 50%, 10%. What would the loan officer make off of that lead?
Probably 100 basis points.
100 basis points.
So for lenders, because there's lenders and there's brokers.
Yeah.
So for lenders, they go more on basis points. For brokers, they go on splits. So it could be like
Yeah.
it could be like a 70-30 split, 60-40 split, 80-20 split, or it could be 100 basis points.
And does it-
150 basis points? Whatever.
Okay. Does it depend on inside a mortgage company? Let's say you're a broker and you own a mortgage broker shop. How do you keep? I've always wanted to understand this. It seems like the barrier to entry is fairly low. If somebody understands that the house is making 50 grand,
Yeah.
but their take home is 10, how do you keep someone grounded in that seat day in and day out when they know what the markup is and they know what you're taking home? I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So when I was young, I worked at Nordstrom and I sold shoes. This is when I was in college.
Which Nordstrom?
Store 360 in San Diego in Fashion Valley. It was
I've been there.
yeah, it's if you are a rich Mexican from Tijuana, this is your store. This is where you want to be seen. And
You've been in San Diego the whole time?
no, I've lived in San Francisco, LA, Orange County, and then came back. Once I had kids, I wanted to give my parents what they deserve, which is
Got
the
it.
time with their grandkids. But I would sell shoes. And I think it's a good example, right? Because you sell a pair of Ferragamos. Back then they were $300 or let's say. And you knew what Nordstrom was buying those shoes for. Nordstrom was buying those for $75. And their markup was whatever, $225. And that was their margin, right? But they have these big stores and all these employees and marketing. You understand that. You're not angry. You get a little commission. Maybe you sell one pair of shoes and you get $20 for selling it, something like that. But you can't go out and start a Nordstrom because the barriers to entry are too high.
Yeah.
But how do you keep a loan officer when they realize that the mortgage company is going to make 50 and I'm going to make 10? Is that difficult? Is that the challenge?
Well, first of all, for mortgages, the margins are not great, and then you also have a lot of it's highly regulated, so you get a lot of you get buybacks, you get fines, you get lawsuits, and if you can't give a high compensation plan, because then you don't have a business, you got a business like that.
Yeah.
So the mistake I made in the beginning was I wanted to give people 100% splits. So I'm going to pay you 100%. I'm just going to keep a flat fee. So let's say if the commission is 10,000, I would keep 750 and they would keep the rest.
Do you create the lead or do they?
They create the lead.
Okay.
So I would keep a flat fee and it was like 100% commission.
That
didn't
overly
work out.
generous.
Yeah, that was I was a dumbass business person when I started.
You were young.
Yeah.
You were young.
So I noticed that doesn't work. So then I created better compensation plans.
Mhm.
So which, you got to have some money for the house to keep growing the company,
Right.
as we understand now. But back then I didn't. But going back to the question, the value they get, the way you keep them is by giving value. So how do you put golden handcuffs on your people?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get them not to go anywhere, no matter what? No matter what. Well, they got to get the value, because they could go. I'm not going to compete with other brokers or other mortgage companies or real estate companies on compensation plans. You want a better compensation plan? Go to mom and pop shop down the street.
Yeah.
Go over there. Go work in a little crappy little office.
Go to Glendale.
Yeah. but
Josh would be happy.
But hey,
looks the part.
we're not small here. We're thinking big. You know, like us.
Yeah.
Like our enemy.
Yeah.
Is Rocket Mortgage.
Okay.
For mortgages. Our enemy for real estate is EXP. Like, we're out there to destroy them. Like, we're gonna beat them. Like that's how big we think. If you want to be part of something big like this is the right place for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get culture here. You're gonna get environment. You're gonna get my mentorship. You're gonna get value. You know, we're gonna grow together. You're gonna get future equity. But if that's not important to you, then go somewhere else, find a better compensation plan, and think small. But here we think big. We're the best. We're number one. We're not softies. We're badasses, and that's how I retain people.
Yeah.
And the softies, strong culture, weeds out the weaklings.
Right. Do you have people leave and then come right back?
I don't take people back.
Really?
Yeah, I made a mistake where like, and let me rephrase that. So I do take people back that leave in good terms. When people leave in bad terms, where they're talking about you, talking bad nonsense about you, or they owe you money, or they do unethical things, like they're doing fraud or things like that.
Right.
It doesn't work out. You bring them back and they do the same shit again.
Yeah.
But if people leave in good terms, and you know what, they're like, hey, you know what, Albert and Sil, it didn't work out. I want to come back. Sure, you could come back.
Okay.
But people that leave unethically,
Yeah.
then no, we don't take them back, because I think a cheater one time is a cheater for life. A liar one time is a liar for life. And obviously, I believe in exceptions. There's people that change. But for the most part, if somebody has those bad habits, I feel like they're going to do it again.
The zebra doesn't change their stripes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
So
make
like
sense.
we do take people back, but it's a selected few. It's like those people that are, they left in good terms. They're good people.
Yeah, I mean, ethics is important, right? Ethics is like a foundational aspect of your being.
Yeah.
And it translates and feeds up right
Yeah.
into the organization. And it can be the contagion rate,
Yeah.
right? It the lack of ethics,
Yeah.
right? Can destroy, it can
Yeah.
metastasize.
Oh, 2
Yeah,
hours.
But I'll tell you something though. A lot of those people, they do want to come back.
The people who have bad energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't want any bad. One bad apple is going to mess up your environment, your culture.
It's the culture. Yeah. And listen, if you're going to build any organization and you're going to scale it up, the vision has to be inclusive of everyone. They have to contribute to the vision. They have to believe in the vision. They have to sculpt it. It has to constantly evolve and iterate. But you can't have those detractors limit you.
Yeah.
And I think for people who are going to watch these clips, if they're going to, if they themselves are at a point where they're building an organization and they're building on the wrong people,
Yeah.
then they're building on mud, right? They're not building on terra firma.
Yeah.
And people are the real reason why organizations grow and blossom. And I think because I'm older than you, I can give you this advice. I would say that in 3 years, when Albert takes a year off, you will have built an organization that can stand on its own 2 feet,
Mm-hmm.
right? That it's not called the Mortgage Guy. It's not called Preciado Realty, right? It's an amalgamation, right, of all these different people and how they've contributed to the vision of the enterprise. And it leaves you to more, whatever, other philanthropic things you want to do with your life, other businesses that you want to grow. You can still lead your life, and this legacy will continue to grow and provide
Yeah.
for generations to come. But I think people need to realize that you shouldn't have to grow with the wrong people, right? You should be able to leverage assets that are the best form of equity
Yeah.
to drive your business forward.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to, yeah.
And you know what? One of the things that makes me the most proud of, and that I think is something unique and a niche that I have,
Yeah.
is that I feel like I empower my Latino community because I'm Mexican,
Yeah.
and I grew up former ESL student. I didn't speak any English till I was 6, 7. I learned, and I still have an accent, but I still go for it. Like, people make fun of me all the time, but I just keep going. I keep getting better. And I empower a lot of people that came from Mexico or Colombia or anywhere else,
Yeah.
that they weren't born here. They don't have those advantages. And I'm proof that, hey, if I was able to do it, like ESL student, special ed student,
Yeah.
and had no business history, no entrepreneurship history in my family,
Right.
I'm the one in my family that changed the family tree forever. Like, if I was able to do that, then anybody can. So like I empower a lot of those young generations that are coming here to America, and I give them hope.
Yeah. I mean, we just walked around before we did the podcast and we saw a training of, 30, 40 people who are young Latinos and Latinas, right?
Yeah.
That are learning how to invest in themselves and build within your organization, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we can close on this. Josh wanted to talk about Driven. I wanted to talk about Driven. We kind of glossed over it. It was like, yeah, I built a realty company, I built a mortgage broker. And Grant Cardone wouldn't let me speak. So I just built Driven. You know what I mean? It was like, no big deal.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Elon Musk going like, well, yeah, like, I don't know. There weren't a lot of car companies that were electric, right? So I just decided to build my own. It's no big deal. Rockets, nobody was reusing them. I just built my own rocket company. Driven has had a tremendous amount of success. And it's in its 7th year, 8th year?
Going 8 years, yeah.
Going 8 years.
We're having Driven 8 coming up.
Driven 8. And when is that?
It's going to be in October.
This is your time to plug it.
But we're having the Driven Business Bootcamp it's going to be in May. So we have the Driven Business Bootcamp, and that's like 400 or 500 entrepreneurs, small business owners. So the business bootcamp is more for business only people.
Yeah.
But the Driven event is the big conference where it's for everybody. That's you get a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration with business, so.
But these are people coming to the Driven event. They don't have to be business owners. These are people that just want to change their lives, right? They want
the Driven event, yes.
The Driven event, right?
Yeah. So that's we've had people like Les Brown, Eric Thomas, David Goggins.
Yeah.
But it's a mixture of it's kind of like when you want to be rich, you want to start a business.
Yeah.
But you don't know how to do it. First thing is you need inspiration, you need mindset help, you need to think bigger.
Right.
And you need to feel like you can do it. And then you get that, but then you also get the how-tos. This is how you're going to start a business and all that.
Business owners, small business owners tend to limit themselves. They think provincially. If they're not going to things like Driven, right? They get comfortable with where they are and they think that's all they can achieve.
Yeah.
Right. From what I've seen with Driven, I see it as a monthly thing. This is my opinion. And as you well know from what I offer, I always give you a disclaimer and I say, this is my opinion. You don't have to take it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you a prediction for the future.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great, but it's more work. I see Driven in 2025 being a monthly event held in 12 different states across the country. And you're putting them in population centers. Dallas, San Jose, LA, Scottsdale,
Miami.
I'll be there. I got to talk to my boy. Where was that guy?
Vegas.
Vegas, Mm-hmm.
You'll be there too.
I'll be there too. Yeah. Because I think in the same way that small business owners tend to think provincially about their business, I make a great pizza. I'm a birria guy. I'm going to have just a taco truck and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to park it on Sunset. That's my deal.
Yeah.
Driven is something franchisable. And what I mean by that is not giving away equity to other people so they can open up their own Drivens. I don't mean that at all. I think it's a monthly event held 12 times a year in 12 different cities where you draw crowds in population centers, and it's going to pull you away from running a realty business, and it's going to pull you away from running a mortgage business. But in life, you can give time and never get it back. And I think as you get maybe to the finish line of your business life, which is hard and fast set at 43, which I think is awesome, you're going to want to be philanthropic with your time. The lessons, the trials, and the tribulations that you've lived through, the horror stories, the trauma, that needs to be a record that's played on repeat in 12 different cities across America for years to come, for future generations to understand and learn from, so they can both replicate the success you've had and avoid the traps and the mistakes that you've made and that you document and so openly share. But I think if you were to ask me in a year where you would be, I would say you'd be a road warrior.
Yeah.
On planes all year long. And Driven would be one of the largest and most influential and important chess pieces on your board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
That's why he'll have to get a private jet soon, right?
Yeah.
That's
it's
the goal.
coming. Driven Airlines. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there you
love
go.
it.
And one thing I know for a fact is I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, you said by 43.
43, yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got 3 years.
And you know what? I don't think it's gonna last a year. You know, like knowing me after 4 days, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I want to get back to work. But it's something that I envision.
Yeah.
And if it lasts a little less, then it lasts a little less. But I just feel that like the thing that I can do best, better than Grant Cardone,
Yeah.
better than Tony Robbins, guaranteed, is reach the Latino American community, like the Latinos here in the US,
Mm-hmm.
because they're the fastest growing population. And in 20 years from now,
Yeah.
imagine how many Latino Americans will exist here and who's going to be there for them. Who are they going to relate to? A lot of people come to me and they tell me, hey, you know what, Albert? I was going to Tony Robbins. I was going to Grant Cardone, but I didn't know you existed. You're like one of us. Like I'd rather give you money and learn from you because you're doing it and you're like me.
Yeah.
And I think that's something big where I feel a lot of other influencers are reaching out to me now and they want to do business with me. They want to collaborate with me because I think they want to take my audience. I think they know that's a big audience he has there, and I want to get into that audience.
There's no fear of scarcity. My plan for you in 2025, it's unstoppable.
Yeah.
You just have to double down and buy into it.
Yeah.
And that's the fear, right? The fear is that not that you can't do it, but that people who have set this certain level of expectation for you to grow to is too far out in the distance and it's unachievable. But it is funny how you can meet certain people who have enjoyed a certain amount of success, financial or otherwise, and they give you an idea and they plant that seed in your head. And you say, oh, from the outside looking in, God, that seems amazing. God, it would be, what a blessing.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do I get there? And so I would encourage you, when, if you buy into this idea.
You planted a seed already.
Yeah.
Now it's your fault.
Yeah. Well, I just think like, it is a great example, which is that like, because we've talked about detractors and the haters and all that type of stuff. But I think the point is that they'll always be chasing the old Albert. Albert's got a realty company, a mortgage company, an escrow company, right? How do I build the escrow company? How do I build the mortgage company? God, how many houses did he sell? How many mortgage loans did he fund? Right? Meanwhile, they're not even thinking about driven. Now they're not even thinking, how do I achieve 12 drivens in a year?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the truth about life, which is that these haters, these detractors, they're battling with themselves. And as entrepreneurs, we are also battling with ourselves. You said, well, we're going to kill EXP and we're going to kill Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage doesn't have driven. EXP doesn't have, I mean, maybe they have.
No, they don't.
They don't. Yeah. It takes a personal brand for people to relate to get behind.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've done that with driven.
And what I mean by kill EXP, kill Rocket Mortgage, just to put it out there is they motivate me.
Yeah.
They force me to be hungrier. So like I they're the Goliaths.
Yeah.
But Goliaths get taken down.
Is not Tony Robbins, is Grant Cardone your Goliath? You look up to him still, or do you still?
I mean, I think the bigger Goliath is Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
So like Tony Robbins is at the top. So when I think about driven, like how far do I want to take driven? I want to be bigger than Tony Robbins.
Oh.
He's on his. I mean, we talk about age.
He's 70, I think. Right?
Is he?
Yeah. Close.
I used to work in the same building as him. He was a giant. He still is a giant.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, going back to that example, right, which is that business owners tend to think provincially. And Albert's been able to double down on, all right, I'm going to get a Ferrari. I'm going to get another Ferrari. I'm going to have an office in this beautiful location, right, which is, yeah.
William, I used to be scared of paying $5,500 a month for my office across the street. This one's $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
And it scared me when I got it.
Yeah.
And everybody has been waiting for me to go out of business for 11 years. Ever since I started the company, the first company, and I got a Ferrari, everybody was saying like, he leases it, he's going to lose it, he's going to go out of business, he owes taxes, he's getting lawsuits, he's da 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 da. They just been talking and talking and talking. 20 years from now, they will still be talking. And they motivate me to they're free motivators. Like people, they'll go on YouTube or they'll go to a Tony Robbins seminar to get motivated.
Yeah.
Haters are free. And if you don't have haters, then you're doing something wrong, because they don't hate on people that are losing. They hate on people that are winning.
I think this is your trauma. This is your childhood trauma. This is like,
I love it. It's the chip on the shoulder.
It's it is something. And it's funny, right? Because your kids won't have this trauma. And they're going to have to dig deep and figure out some sort of way to motivate them through life.
Right.
They're not going to be ESL. They're not going to have, whatever the sort of bag of issues that you had as a child. But they're going to have to find a way to like motivate themselves and do great.
Yeah.
But I think that it's that trauma. It's not EXP. It's not Rocket Mortgage. It's you. It's you competing with the younger version of yourself, trying to change history. And I think by the time you get to be a granddad or something, you'll look back on it and go, and hopefully sooner, you'll look back on it and go, it wasn't any of that. It was just me competing with me.
You think that's Elon Musk too? He has trauma.
I do. Yeah. He has a lot of
it's the first time I hear that word when it comes to like success.
Yeah.
And I like it. I think this is a huge message for people watching this.
You got to have trauma, especially childhood.
What's your trauma?
This episode is not about me. This episode is not about me, but you have to have trauma and you have to be driven. And if you have that winning formula, then you have success.
Yeah.
But you can't be missing one, right? It has to be the dynamism, that dynamic amalgamation, that formula of trauma plus you have to be driven. But I think that, we can wrap it up here if you guys are okay with that. I wanted to end it on a really on a prediction. And I've told you what my prediction is.
Yeah.
Which is 2025, 12 different cities, 1 a month driven. That's your challenge.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I take the challenge.
Let's do it. Thanks, Albert.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
What a great
thanks.
episode.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to a new friendship.
Yeah.
And one thing that I enjoy the most right now
Yeah.
is having more quality friends.
Yeah.
Like there's higher level conversations,
Yeah.
and I enjoy them. And some people, like, you just can't help because they don't want to be helped.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest time wasters that I had, was just trying to help people that didn't want the help.
Yeah.
And once I started focusing on more quality relationships, my life started being more beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I think you've got a portfolio of assets, of winning assets. And now it's just time to double down on the ones that make more sense to prioritize.
Right.
Because again, and I want you to repeat after me, time is something you can give and never get back. Right?
Yeah.
You going to say it?
Time is something you can give and never get back.
You know who said that quote? Albert Preciado. We'll end it there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Albert.
Oh,
you're the man, dude.